Morning folks, or afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. What a beautiful day it is today, and we're in November. How ridiculous. So it's one of those days where you just have to get out for a ride. So we've got the autumn colours, who was down this road not long ago, and we're about 13 degrees in November. How crazy is that? Well, talking about crazy, the reason we're going down this road today is because I'm meeting up with CRAZYLEGS on a bike, and it's a while since we've met. So it'll be good to see Jay. So we'll be meeting up hopefully in the next 10 minutes, depending whether I'm late or he's early or whatever, I don't know. And then we're just going to go over to probably Grindleford Cafe, and then hopefully over to Stanage Edge and put the birds in the air, maybe get some views and some scenery for you guys. But can't believe the sky today. I've got the fingerless gloves on, as you know. I prefer these when I'm riding, especially on the Harley. Pockets open as usual, but we'll just zip that up a little bit because there's still a little bit of wind chill. But what a fantastic day. You always get the wet on the road here, the runoff from the hills, no matter whether it's been dry for bloody weeks or what. So if any of you watched last week's vlog out on the Triumph Tiger, a little bit of off-road in there, that was some good fun, and it was great to just explore a few of the different roads over on the other side of Derbyshire. And there's plenty more of those that we've not done yet, so we're going to make that a point of getting over to that side and bringing some new roads to you guys and girls. Well, here before me for once. Alright folks, well finally, after how long is it now? 18 months we reckon. We was going to do the shot earlier, and Jay was going to actually record me coming in, and then if you noticed then, just as I pulled up, then he was chatting to some, I don't know who they were. So it sort of spoilt the shot, but look at this fantastic day.
It's absolutely glorious, mate.
Leave the shades on. It's great to see you, mate. So we think we're going to head down into the deepest hills again.
Into Grindleford, I think.
Grindleford, yeah. Grab a brew at Grindleford, and hopefully get onto Stanage.
Stanage Edge, yeah.
And then we'll stick the birds, not one bird, two birds in the air.
Try not to crash them.
Try not to crash them together, yeah. Right, okay.
Yeah,
let's get on the bikes. See you in the bikes, folks.
See you in a bit.
A Harley and a Ducati head for the hills. It's been too long. It's so good to see Jay. That's the problem though, when you're trying to plan stuff and it gets into the weekend and then you just got a couple of hours to grab a ride, and other people are normally doing other things and whatnot, so only a short stretch that road. It's the back road from Woodhead over to Glossop, but it's so much fun. Just got to be a little bit wary though, because the roads are quite narrow on the bends if you've got an approaching car, so you just got to give yourself a little bit of time. Here comes Jay. So just heading up on Tunel Hill. Which is another of my favourite roads of all time. Just checking Jay's behind me, which he is. Sun's always in front, so it's difficult to negotiate the road ahead. That sounded posh, didn't it? Hang on. Signal to overtake. That prick then, that's just blocked Jay. You won't be happy with that. I thought he might have gone that way up to win its pass. It was last week on the Tiger and this week on the Harley. That little brass brought a chill to the fingers. So I was interested before because we was just chatting about cameras, because my stablemate cameras, which is my 5 black that's on the handlebars looking towards me, and the 8 black looking forward, I've always been pretty damn reliable for me, apart from the audio problems, which GoPro has audio problems. GoPro audio is shit, as we all know. But usually in the dry they're alright, but in the wet I've had a couple of problems in the past. And Jay is using now a DJI camera on his lid, and he's got the 360 on the stick sticking out of the bike on the near side. So it'll be interesting to see what footage it brings from his perspective as well, and looking back at me, because something I have been thinking of is changing the cameras. And I know the 11's out now, the GoPro, but I'm seriously going to have a read up on the DJI as well. But I'll tell you what, from earlier back there, now we're in the Peak District, the temperature really has dropped. I've got the fingerless gloves on, they're still alright, but I'm just going to overtake this. And if we pop some heat on there, these Heat Demon grips are really worthwhile if you've got a Sportster or any bike they haven't got heated grips on. But with the Harley, if you look at where the controls are, it's that ergonomically designed, it looks like it's factory and part of the bike. Wow, just that darker sky, the cloud in the background makes that look so dramatic. But again, it's always a popular spot. I was lucky that time I came down here and I just popped the bike down for a minute just to get them couple of pictures. just a shame that the cameras don't pick up on the top of the hill, because you can just see about 30 people lined up on the top. This is the frustration really with Winnets, is the fact it's a narrow road and it's popular as well for people, especially on a weekend, and they can't open the cattle gates either. Hey up! But it doesn't matter what time of the year you come down here, it's a spectacular view. I'll say that again as well, there's so many people that I know that have put the bikes away for winter. There's too many good days right through the year. And I know people say it's when they start salting the roads, but everyone goes on about ACF 50, and I know it's good stuff, don't get me wrong, just a bugger to get off if you want to get it off. I've never used it and I won't use it. Underneath my bike is just WD-40s, silicons, just cleaned once in a while and then dried off in the garage and then sprayed again. That's all I do, and I've hardly any rust spots I've had to attend to on this bike, apart from the usual rear mudguard or fender if you are from the US of A, which has been done a couple of times since I've had the bike, but apart from that, nothing. And then down to the bottom of here, and we have arrived in style, I should add. Long time since I've been down here. You don't realise when you think back, you think, God, is it 2 years? 3 years? At least 2 years. Well, that was nice. Jay's treated me to a cup of coffee and a bacon butty, so food down the bellies, losing light pretty fast, so let's get our asses over to Stanage Edge. Power's always there when you need it. Interesting as well, and as popular as these tyres are, the Avon Cobras, that we've heard the Avon factory in the UK is about to close. So whether or not we'll still be able to get hold of the Cobra tyres in the future is anyone's guess, but if that's not the case, it'd be again interesting to see what other options are out there for me to try, because the Cobras in the UK, especially on the Harleys and the Sportster, have been just the go-to choice for tyre. They're so night and day in comparison to the standard Michelin ditch finders. And just while I was at the cafe as well, I've just wound down my rear suspension at the Progressives, as I feel they were a little bit too tight, and hence one of the reasons a few weeks back when I did the 0 to 60 quarter-mile run on the bike, and on a couple of the bends I said I had a bit of the old Harley wobble, the death wobble on the front, and I just knew something wasn't quite right between the suspension setup, and I forgot I'd wound up to try out the rears on a harder setting a while ago, and then I'd softened back the front Progressives because they're adjustable on my front suspension, and then left the rear wound up, so it was hard on the back and soft at the front. And already just on these bends now I can feel I've got a little bit of stability back on the corner, whereas I felt I was losing it before. Fantastic view from this side though, and normally I'm coming down the road from the other side, and in fact this left turn is one of the roads I kept saying that I'll have to explore down here, and normally from that road on the right is where I come down. So you can see how popular it is though. A nice little spot for us now. I know it's a passing place, but
Starting to steam up now.
same as me.
We're losing light rapidly, aren't we?
I know. I know.
Every day's an adventure, mate. Right, let's get these drones up there.
So there you go, folks. Stanage Edge, you know, it's beauty with the sun going down wherever it is behind us or wherever. Over to the east. We'll say the east because I'm facing this way. I don't know what it is.